Welcome to UC News, ucnewscanada.ca. The Canadian Crisis Response. I'm Dr. Dave. In a major class action lawsuit open to the public, the Quinte West Mayor and Council have been charged with forming a gang that has replaced our democratic practices and principles with the working mechanisms of an authoritarian state. These are not accusations. This is what they have done. Instead of doing the job of legitimate government, the mayor and council have written their personal beliefs into policy, imposing their views onto 44,000 residents without reason and without regard to damage done. Authoritarian states being created by authoritarian personality types, working against the law, against the justice system, against people, and against the principles and practices of legal democracy defined clearly in our Canadian Constitution Act. The criminal code charges of sedition under Section 59 are indictable offences of up to 14 years in prison. The evidence is clear and compelling. When an authoritarian ruler takes over your life, operating by force and threat and refusing reason, an entire nation can be forced down a path to social, economic, and ecologic disaster. Sometimes a ruler wishes to demonstrate totalitarian control, aiming in fine detail to show they have complete power over everything, further promising the unlimited use of state power and force against you. In a nation respecting equality under the law, this is a lie. Quinte residents have done nothing wrong. The mayor and council use a technique of fraud called entrapment. In it, they write bylaws with no basis in law and then claim you have broken the law. You have not. They have. In refusing to obey the law for the purposes of fraud, to receive benefit by depriving others of benefit, and removing their essential rights and freedoms by power of choice, the mayor and council put you in conflict with the law. You cannot act without breaking one law or another. That's entrapment. But you've done nothing wrong. They have, and it was intentional. For example, the mayor says you need a dog license. You want to know why. They refuse to say. You know it's a cash grab, but they refuse to answer questions. Why do I need one? What service is provided? Why does it cost so much? Refusal to provide reason under Section 1 of the Charter is the criminal code charge of sedition. Canadian laws are numbered. What is most important is placed at the top. Number 1 is the definition of a democracy. What distinguishes an authoritarian state or dictatorship from democracy is the provision of reason. We cannot obey laws we cannot understand. There must be a reason for a law. We pay workers in government for a reason. Without reason, Section 52 of our Charter comes into play. A law without a valid basis is an edict. It has no force or effect because it is not based on the principles of justice and cannot be regarded as valid. You do not have to pay. And thousands of Quinte residents choosing to obey Canada's top laws justifiably refuse to pay, and in doing so, avoid higher charges of aiding and abetting, contributing to fraud. What does an authoritarian state look like on paper? Demands for money, without reason and beyond reason, as a demonstration of goals of totalitarian control. A state in which citizens have no say whatsoever about even the smallest details in their lives, in which the state constantly issues threats and promises force. Refusal to respond, in person and in writing, with all answers blocked at all points of contact. City staff ordered to silence in a bylaw aimed fully at obstruction of justice and covering up fraud. Claiming public policy is secret, and if you want to know, you have to pay. Every bylaw with fees and penalties if you do not obey, with no answers if you ask questions. A fine if you do not obey or pay immediately. Fees that are arbitrary, with no basis or connection to the cost of services. The mayor and council aim to raise $125,000, enough to hire 5 people at $41,000 each to deal with the so-called dog problem, whatever that is. A refusal to say what actual service is provided, if any. A fee if you dare question this. At the root of all this, we want to know why. That is the law. The burden of proof is on the mayor, who must provide reason. Not just because I say so, because it's a bylaw, because I have authority, because I have the power and you do not. And if you dare disobey, we will crack down on you with unlimited force and power. This is what the mayor and council propose. That's not the law, and that's not what citizens say. This is sedition, a criminal code violation requiring minimal federal sentencing. We paid you to do the work, and you did not do it. A high school student could describe dogs, dog problems, and the solutions in one day. You didn't do the work, and we're not paying. We will not follow your sick plan to destroy democracy and our lives. We will follow the Supreme Court plan for legal democracy. In that plan, minors have a say in their lives and future, in this case by engaging in the details of any issue that matters to them. Parents, as legal guardians, now have direct access to the fact-based principles of justice and the processes of decision-making by direct access to law, an inherent right we won in 1982. We make the discussion open and public, as required by law, and we make this the basis of decision-making in a clear and fair democratic due process, considering all factors and circumstances. When the entire team of mayor and council lack the basic competencies of cognitive development and remain trapped in a juvenile stage of moral reasoning, unable to write a policy based on fact, reason, and justice, neglecting their duty. Under the law, it is the responsibility of citizens to perform this essential democratic function as the employee of workers and government. This is our Section 1 right and responsibility, using our skills, talents, and best ideas to ensure the maintenance of healthy society. In this manner, parents protect the lives and future of our children, which is the primary role and responsibility of government rejected by the mayor.